At Run Baby Run Arena, the first weekend of Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference play continues as the Siena Saints make the trip down to Jersey City to take on the St. Peter's Peacocks. Alongside Coach Darryl Jacobs, Joe Vasile with you here tonight. Darryl, both teams coming off their MAAC openers on Friday. Different results. Should be a good one here tonight.
Yeah, St. Peter's come off an impressive win on the road up at Quinnipiac. Siena lost a tough win at home at Manhattan in overtime, so it should be a good one this evening, Joe.
Siena has 11 newcomers on their roster this year, and they've been led by a transfer from Cal Poly, Colby Rogers.
Yeah, he's coming home to New Jersey. He played his high school ball at Roselle Catholic. He leads them in scoring and three-point shooting. And, Joe, he can score from 3 levels on the floor. So they're going to look for him to have a big game this afternoon.
Meanwhile, junior Fusini Drame had a phenomenal game on Friday night.
Yeah, that's 13 and 13. He had 13 points, 13 rebounds, but he's very active on the offensive and defensive glass, Joe. He scores well around the basket. He can knock down that open three. Again, he was for 13 coming with the double-double off that great game over at Quinnipiac, so they're going to need him to continue that production this afternoon.
Shaheen Holloway said that he needs Fusini Drame to be that guy consistently night in and night out. Meanwhile, head coach of the Siena Saints, Carmen Massarello, now in his third year, has won either outright or a co-championship during the regular season in the MAAC in each of his first 2 seasons.
Well, what a great way to start both his first 2 years at Siena, having his say or part in 2 regular season championship or outright championship. One of the best young coaches in the country.
Meanwhile, St. Peter's, led by Shaheen Holloway, in his 4th season now as the head man at the Peacocks. Coach of the Year in the MAAC in 2020, got St. Peter's into the semifinals in the MAAC tournament, back-to-back years, looking to take that next step this season.
Another great young coach in the country. We have 2 great coaches, young coaches in the country with 2 phenomenal programs. The start of MAAC conference play. One team comes in at 0-1, Siena, the other team is 1-0. We should have a good one this afternoon, Joe.
Fusini Drame jumping center against Jared Billups. And it's Drame who wins it back, and the Peacocks start out offensively. No Matthew Lee today for St. Peter's, dealing with a little bit of an ankle injury. He is just dressed in warm-ups over on the bench.
Well, St. Peter's is deep, so that's why you recruit. That's why you have a deep team such as St. Peter's. As you see, Severia got the start right there. He misses the layup, but he's a quality backup. Very good coming out of high school, highly talented recruited. So St. Peter's probably won't miss a beat unless it comes down to some experienced play happen to come into play.
Meanwhile, Siena's going to be without Andrew Platek today. Hurt his ankle on Friday night in the game against Manhattan. He's a North Carolina transfer.
Yeah, that's huge for them. The North Carolina transfer has been really playing well for them. So that's a big blow for them. And possibly, I think Jackson Stomo is out as well. So 2 big blows for the Siena ball club.
Doug Eddert off the mark on a 3 for the Peacocks. Eddert's been a leading scorer for St. Peter's this year, 13.5 points a game. There's Colby Rogers.
And I mentioned he played his high school ball out here in New Jersey at Roselle Catholic High School. Got a lot of family here, so he's looking to put up some big numbers this afternoon, Joe.
Both of these teams have shot the 3 ball relatively well in the early going this season.
Yeah, but one of the things Siena definitely has to work on is their defense. They're allowing teams to shoot 47% from the floor, so that's one of the things Coach Carm really wants to have his team focus on.
Casey Nadefo, preseason player of the year in the MAAC, was off the mark on that shot for St. Peter's. Nadefo's been a little bit slow to get going this season, Darryl.
Yes, he has been a slow get going, but he had a great game last game out, the first conference game with 16 points, 7 assists, helped leading them to the victory. As you can see, that's what he does best. One of the best defenders in the country. As you can see right there on the block, leading out to a transition. Unfortunately, Drame missed the layup, but Nadefo is one of the elite defenders, 2-time MAAC Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best in the country. So they're going to look for his leadership for the rest of the season, particularly in the conference play, Joe.
Last year, Casey Nadefo led the nation in block shots, and he is the all-time shot blocking leader at St. Peter's through the end of his junior season.
Well, let me point out, he's only 6'6". So that's phenomenal. As you can see right there, he's very good at being a secondary defender, coming up with block shots as well. As you can see, Drame gets called for the foul.
Fusini Drame picks up the first foul of the game for either side. And that'll send Siena to the free throw line for the first time today. Jordan Kellier, the one heading to the line, a transfer from Utah.
And you can see Drame hits his arm on the way up.
Kellier good on the first. Jordan Kellier, one of 4 Power 5 transfers on this Siena team this season. Michael Bayer coming over from Iowa, Andrew Platek from North Carolina. Anthony Gaines from Northwestern and Kellier out of Utah.
Yeah, one of the things when you got new players coming over learning a new system, it's going to take some time. So that's why you play those out-of-league games. They lost a tough one at home against Manhattan the first conference game, Joe. They didn't shoot the ball well from the foul line, and that spelled them in losing the victory.
Defo working inside on Kellier, picks up the bucket.
Yeah, if they allow him to shoot over his left shoulder, Joe, he's going to be money all day. Once he turns and be able to shoot over his left shoulder, which is his right hand, that's his strong hand. He's pretty much money when he gets it down there.
Kellier outside, knocks down the triple.
And yeah, he can shoot the basketball as well, Joe. You mentioned he's one of the 4 Power 5 conference transfers. He has experience, particularly coming down to the MAAC, so they're going to have to guard him anytime he gets that shot in that range.
Eddard looks to drive. Good defense played by Kobe Rogers. Nadefo gonna try a 3 of his own.
And Nadefo up at Quinnipiac was 2 for 2 from 3. He knocked out 2 3-pointers, which has not been his strong suit. So if he can continue to prove his offensive game, he's preseason MAAC Player of the Year, so he adds that to his game. He's gonna be even more formidable.
Kellier for another 3.
And I mentioned, Joe, they're going to have to play him from that sweet spot. He's found a sweet spot at the top of the key, so Nadefo is playing him. Siena started basically 5 guards. The tallest player is 6'6", and Keller, he can shoot the basketball.
He's already got a career high with 7 points. Drame, corner 3, way too strong.
Yeah, that was a contested shot. He can shoot that when he's wide open. Probably shouldn't have taken that shot. Kind of ill-advised right there.
St. Peter's starting off 1 for 7 from the floor. And a foul called against Marty Silvera. Holt's play brings us to a timeout on the floor. Early 10-2 lead for the Siena Saints over the St. Peter's Peacocks. Watching the MAAC on ESPN. It's an early 10-2 lead for the Siena Saints over the St. Peter's Peacocks here at Run Baby Run Arena. Alongside Darryl Jacobs, Joe Vasile with you here this afternoon. Siena off to a nice start shooting the basketball, and it's been something of an area for them that's been hit and miss this season. They've been good from beyond the arc, but offensively looking for that consistent flow. They've got it over the first 4 minutes.
Oh, that is correct, Joe. Anytime you get some new players in, you're looking to build that chemistry. Right now, they're 3 for 4 from the 3-point line. They're coming shooting 34%, so right now they're eclipsing that.
Jordan Kellier leading the way with 7 points for Siena. Aiden Carpenter out there. And now Jace Johnson. A little bit of a different look out there for the Saints out of the timeout. Rebound for Casey Nadefo.
And one of the things you'll see in Darryl Dimes, they can't have scoring droughts. I'll mention that in the Darryl Dimes about St. Peter's. They have to find some consistency in scoring. One of the things they're getting back to is their foundation, which is playing good defense. They did that up in Quinnipiac. And you see, unfortunately, a turnover right there for the Peacocks. They did that up at Quinnipiac, Joe. They held the Bobcats to 32% shooting from the floor, 22% from 3. So that's one of the Peacock's stalwart is the good defensive play.
It's Darrell Banks the third with the turnover. First time we've said his name so far tonight.
Yeah, he's coming off a great game up at Quinnipiac as well, Joe. He had 15 points.
Here's Carpenter. Now Nick Hopkins, a transfer from Belmont. Rogers. Good turnaround move and sinks it.
That was Kobe Bryant-esque right there. Able to drop step, pivot back to the middle of the floor, and knock down the jump shot.
It's an 8-0 run for Siena over the last 2.5 minutes as Latrell Reed gets it across the timeline. Tried to finish himself, just not able to.
I just missed a bunny. St. Peter's has missed 3 bunnies at the basket, Joe. High percentage shots. They just got to finish at the rim.
Kellier. Now out for Hopkins. Carpenter for the 3, no good. And Nadefo tips the board to himself. And then the turnover.
Good idea, just ill-advised right there.
Isaiah Dasher nearly came away with a steal for St. Peter's, but Siena recovers, and Kellier gets the bucket and a timeout taken by the Peacocks.
And I tell you, he's been hot from the floor. He hasn't missed a shot since the ball game started. He's done a great job hitting a couple of 3-pointers and now knocking down that mid-range right there in the Joe. off the pass inside.
It's 9 points for Jordan Kellier already in the game so far today to lead Siena. You know, when you're looking at them being a little shorthanded, no play tech, Jackson Stormo is here, he's dressed, but the availability is questionable. Who is going to step up? And he's been that guy so far.
Well, right now it's addition by subtraction, so to speak, for Siena. So that's a great thing for Coach Carm and his team. On the other side of the ledger for the Peacocks, they're only shooting 12.5% from the floor. And one of the things that Siena and Coach Carm want to focus on, they're allowing teams to shoot 47% from the floor against them thus far. So right now they're doing a good job defensively. Not so much hard defense, it's just that the Peacocks are missing some easy looks at the basket.
I was going to say, I think if you're Shaheen Holloway right now, you're not necessarily upset with the looks that you're getting or the shots that you're taking. Been a couple of turnovers that maybe a little bit careless with that last pass from Casey Nadefo inside that got stolen away. But, I mean, outside of that, it's been okay offense for the Peacocks so far, just the results not translating yet.
Yeah, you're not making it. The bottom line in this ball game is you got to put the ball in the basket more than the opponent. So that's the main objective.
Jalen Murray is in the game for St. Peter's as a foul given on Hassan Drame away from the basket. It's going to go against Jace Johnson first against Siena.
Yeah, a talented freshman coming in, Murray, for the Peacocks. He's probably coming in to give him to probably ignite the offense. He's very heady, he's very savvy. He's played with a lot of swag, and he can shoot the basketball.
3-star recruit coming out of Putnam Science Academy. As tipped and stolen away by Siena.
And that's one of the things the Peacocks have to do. They have to take care of the basketball. Right now, they're not doing a good job taking care of the basketball.
Couple dribbles from Michael Bayer. Now McCollum. Bayer had a look, passed it up to Carpenter. Patient offense by Siena, and Aiden Carpenter gets the bucket. It's a 14-point Saints lead.
Well, he earned that shot right there. He was able to wheel in there, make a good move, caught the defender snapping a little bit, was able to float over the top of him, Joe.
Eddard. Working inside, Dasher. Or rather, Clarence Rupert's with some space, gets the bucket.
And that's a power move right there by the talented freshman out of Philadelphia. Much needed basket for the Peacocks. Ends that 14-0 run by Siena.
Bayer. Good ball movement by the Saints. Javian McCollum. Tipped by Eddard and stolen. Here's Murray running the break. Eddard in rhythm for three, no. And the rebound for the Saints. Here's Carpenter up ahead. Bucket good, and the foul.
That's a great move by Carpenter, Joe. He avoided the charge. He saw Murray was setting up for the charge. He was able to make a Euro step, jump away, and Murray being a freshman, inside that restricted area, as you can see right there, still moving with him, and that's the correct call by the official.
Had the feed outside the arc, but was not set. Now a chance for a three-point play for Aiden Carpenter, the sophomore out of Hamden, Connecticut.
That's a very heads-up play by Carpenter right there. Able to avoid the charge, not only avoid the charge, able to finish at the rim and a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play.
Free throw no good. 14-point lead for Siena. It's Jalen Murray. Now Hassan Drame, twin brother of Fusini.
This is good defense by Siena.
Hard-working basket.
A better offense right there by Fusini Drame. They earned that basket. And right now, Siena, one of the things Coach Carm wants to focus on, we mentioned allowing teams shoot 47%, is on the defensive end, and they're doing a real good job.
Shots starting to go down for the Peacocks. Carpenter drives in, and the bucket good. Unfortunately for St. Peter's, they're still going down for Siena at the same clip that they've been throughout the first half. It's been a really good showing for the Saints.
It's good. Very offensive showing. Good offensive showing for the Saints. Able to get in the lane right there. Carpenter, a hard-earned basket again.
Rupert going to try a three. Oh, silky smooth for Clarence Rupert.
Wow, the big fella said I can knock down the three. The big fella out of Philadelphia, one of the bright spots this year in the freshman class for the Peacocks.
Kellier looking to answer no. That was the first three-pointer attempted in the career for Rupert. drops back to Hassan Drame, and he gets the bucket.
Wow, great pass by the freshman Rupert. He caught it under the basket. Joe, he lobbed it back to Drame for the easy layup.
Timeout on the floor. Siena with a 9-point lead, but St. Peter's starting to make a run midway through the first. Watching the MAAC on ESPN. St. Peter's on a 5-0 run over the last 36 seconds, and they've cut it down to a 9-point Siena lead. Good start for the Saints. Joe Vasile alongside Daryl Jacobs. Daryl, let's get into the dimes for today's game.
Well, right now, Siena is really carrying out all the things I say they have to do. They're defending, they're winning the points off turnovers. Also, they dictating the tempo. Unfortunately for St. Peter's, they're in that drought. I said no droughts, they're in a scoring drought right now. They're kind of not taking care of the basketball right now, and they really haven't got second time around, which means second chance opportunities on the offensive glass, Joe.
No offensive rebounds for St. Peter's. That said, no offensive rebounds for Siena either in this game so far.
Well, for Siena, they're making a lot of shots,
yeah.
so right now it's not going to be a lot of offensive rebounds for coming off on their end.
62% from the floor for the Saints to start the game. There's Anthony Gaines working inside. Got the mismatch in the bucket. First two of the game for Gaines.
Siena's doing a very good job running their stuff, getting into what they want to get into, and they're playing a type of game. Again, Daryl Downs, I mentioned, they got to dictate tempo, and right now they're doing that, Joe.
Siena doubling up St. Peter's. Banks inside, Rupert. Awkward pass, and it gets away. Turnover for St. Peter's, their fourth.
Yeah, if he could have grabbed that and recovered, he was able to get a layup because his man was playing, hedging over the top and overextended. He just couldn't come up with the basketball.
Siena's scored off of every St. Peter's turnover so far today.
And that makes me look good. That in that pot, point of turnovers, they got to win that battle, and right now they win in that battle, Joe.
Jared Billups, freshman from Waldorf, Maryland, looks to drive. Dump it back for Kellier. Had a right-handed take that was no good. And the rebound for Hassan Drame. And for Rupert, tipped. And out of bounds off St. Peter's.
Yeah, Siena player might have tipped a little bit and subsequently distracted Rupert from catching the basketball, but good look by Drame. Just not a great defense right there, by Siena. Able to tip the pass, and it goes off Rupert.
It's McCollum and Murray matched up on each other right now. A couple of freshmen.
Yeah, and Siena started two freshmen this afternoon. Coach Carmen is really trying to find some chemistry, and he felt that these two freshmen can possibly bring it.
To the free throw line, Kellier. Looking to go in on the Toller, Rupert. Good defense.
Great disciplined defense by the young freshman Rupert. Able to keep his position, not overextend his arms.
Back to Rupert inside. He finds Hassan Drame. Good pass, better finish.
I tell you, he's dropping dimes as well. Rupert is dropping dimes, got enough presence on the floor to find the open man underneath, and of course Siena napping.
Got a timeout taken by Siena after just a beautiful pass. It's always so pretty watching passes from big men down in the post.
Dropping them dimes right there, Joe. Great pass by Rupert inside. The young freshman has a great presence of mind, understand where the double team is coming. And what good big men do, Joe,
yep.
They get in the lane, you call, we say, check for information. Find the open area on the floor, read the floor. He was able to do that right there and found his front court mate open under the basket, Drame.
And the 6'8" freshman from Philadelphia came in averaging 4 points a game. He's got 5 already, 2 assists. He's having a great first half. He's playing really good defense. Hassan Drame is doing a nice job himself, helping to finish on that last bucket. Has got a key rebound that started a fast break. Well, St. Peter's, after the early drought, starting to put it together.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned the drought, because that's one of the things I said in Daryl Dimes, no droughts. And they unfortunately started off the game in a drought, and Siena started off very hot.
Siena will slow the tempo down, working here in the front court.
And you see Peacocks in the 2-3 zone trying to slow the Saints down because they're getting a lot of shots in the paint.
Drame tips it off of Billups, and a turnover for Siena.
And that's good. Great defense right there. Now you're going to begin to see the momentum change a little bit. If the Peacocks will come up with a basket right here, now they only be down 7 points after allowing the Saints to go on a 14-0 run, subsequently got them a 14-point lead.
Murray. Screen from Rupert. And Jalen Murray knocks it down.
There it is, Joe, that talented freshman, able to come off that ball screen. He really knows how to utilize that ball screen, able to get to the foul line area, sweet spot, and knock it down.
Murray had a great game against St. John's earlier in the season, 11 points. High of his young career. This is only his 5th game this year.
Well, both him and Rupert, the other freshman, had a great game against St. John's. Both of them had 11 points. You can see the Saints right there. They call for the travel. Now you can begin to see the momentum change a little bit here, Joe.
Siena still clinging to a 7-point lead. 8 minutes left to go in the first. You're watching today's contest on the MAAC on ESPN. Back inside Run Baby Run Arena. St. Peter's at 1 point, trailed by 14 points. They've cut it down to a 7-point Siena lead with a nice run. And we'll see how things shake out over the final 8 minutes of this first half. Joe Vasile alongside Daryl Jacobs. This has been one heck of a series lately. Been split in each of the last 6 seasons, 1 game apiece. St. Peter's has not lost in Jersey City to Siena since 2010, when Fran McCaffrey was still coaching at Siena. It has been a while since the Saints have come out on top here in JC.
Wow, Fran McCaffrey, who's now the head coach at the University of Iowa, doing a fantastic job there. That's been a long time, as you can see Murray there going to the basket and picks up the foul, Joe.
Apologize to any Siena fans watching the broadcast today for bringing up that streak. Of course, astute Siena fans will also know that their win in 2018 was no longer in the books as a win.
Unfortunately, lads, you see McCullum tries to grab Murray going to the basket right there. Just didn't make the layup. Had a chance for the old-fashioned 3-point play.
Murray's first is no good. It's just the second time Jalen Murray's going to the free throw line as a collegian.
Yeah, he's going to have growing pains. You know, highly talented coming out of high school. Putman Science. He's done a real good job thus far trying to get acclimated to the college game.
Was originally committed to go play at Bryant, then reopened up his commitment, had offers from Fordham, Seton Hall, Texas Tech, St. Bonaventure, George Washington, VCU, and Iona before committing to St. Peter's in September.
And I'll say this, what better coach to come play for than Coach Holloway? High school All-American, won MVP in the high school McDonald All-American game. All Big East performer, had a nice career.
Tough shot for Carpenter, and somehow he got it to fall.
Well, I tell you, Carpenter is really carving his way to the basket this afternoon. That's another fantastic, tough basket right there by Carpenter.
Tipped by Billups. And Hassan Drame collects.
And Coach Carm is very high on Billups, another talented freshman.
And foul called against Jared Billups, who, in case anyone is wondering, the cousin of Chauncey Billups.
You beat me to it. So it's in the bloodlines there. He's out of Waldorf, Maryland. Very talented. Went to McDonough Heights, went to McDonough School down there. Very good basketball school down in Maryland.
Powerhouse team down around the Baltimore area. McDonough. Casey Nadefo fakes the handoff, lost it on the spin move. Trying to get it back, and out of bounds off of the Peacocks.
Good defense right there by the Saints. Able to catch Nadefo napping. Didn't see the defender coming from the backside. Was able to knock it off Nadefo.
8-point lead for Siena.
And right now, Joe, Siena is shooting close to 65% from the floor and 50% from 3.
And they really have not slowed down their pace offensively throughout this first half. Here's Rogers with an open look for 3. Buries it, and he's up to 8.
That's a great skip pass by the Saints. Able to get across the defense. Rogers was able to step in, knock down the 3-pointer from the right side, Joe.
St. Peter's had the slow start offensively, picked it up, but dug themselves a big hole in the first few minutes. There's Murray. DB3 underneath for Nadefo. Back to him on the cut. Jump ball, possession arrow favors Siena.
Great idea, but tough inside right there. You have 3 defenders around you from the Saints. They tied up, get a jump ball, and the possession arrow goes to the Saints. As you can see, good pass right there, but good defense right there by Billups and Carpenter.
Siena coming off a tough game, an overtime loss at home to Manhattan on Friday night, a game where they led by 13 in the second half. And Jasper's able to come back.
And that game came down to free throw shooting if you look at the stats. Just couldn't knock down the free throws. They missed 7.
3 hangs on the rim and doesn't go down. Murray. Banks. Dishes underneath to Hassan Drame.
Great penetration right there by Banks. Able to lay it off, draw the defense, drop it off to Drame. But give the Saints a lot of credit, Joe. They really making St. Peter's work for everything on the offensive end.
Well, Siena's such a tricky team defensively. They switch defenses a lot. They'll switch in the middle of possessions. It's just a team that would strike me as very hard to game plan against all of the different things that they do defensively.
Absolutely. Very athletic, as you saw. He started basically 5 guards, Keller being 6'6" up front. And unfortunately for Nadefo, really didn't know he could shoot the basketball like that. He knocked down 2 threes, but subsequently started their run, 14-0 run.
Underneath, Rogers, no. Nadefo grabs the rebound, his 5th already. Here's Murray to the basket and draws a foul. Billups came up with the block. St. Peter's calling for a goaltend as well.
And I believe you're correct there, Joe. Watch the secondary defender, Billups right there. I don't know if it hit the backboard yet. It seemed like Billups might have put it on the backboard. Let's see what the officials call.
Just a
2-shot foul.
Just a 2-shot foul.
Yeah. I thought it looks like Billups had put it on the backboard, and it was still on his upward trajectory, Joe, on the way up. So good call by the officials.
First free throw from Murray is up and good.
And one of the things you want to see from your freshman, and as it's going to be baptism by fire. He's very talented, but it's a totally different ball game than.
Second, no good. Rebound by Bayer. Carpenter. Siena by 8. Carpenter puts Siena back by double digits, and he has 10 in the game.
And all his points has come inside the paint area, Joe. Good move right there by Murray, able to answer the call. And Carpenter has gotten all his points inside, and every basket Carpenter has is tough. Just like Murray's basket right there was a very tough move by the freshman.
29-21, Siena on top by 8.
And the Peacocks are chomping and chomping at this lead now, Joe.
Carpenter attacking inside. It's blocked by Nadefo. And going down the other way, off the Siena Saints.
And that's what Nadefo does best. He's a great secondary defender and a great on-ball defender. Normally he can match up against anybody, so anybody he goes up against, he's going to be able to defend. Again, he's one of the best defenders in the country at any level of college basketball.
Nadefo went into the transfer portal after last season. Kind of dipped his toes in the waters, decided to come back to St. Peter's.
Well, like most young players, particularly coming from a mid-major, from a low to mid-major school, you're looking to try to go higher, but I think he made a terrific move in staying here.
And an offensive foul called against Nadefo, and then a technical foul assessed against Nadefo as well.
And that's one of the things Coach Holloway said Nadefo definitely have to really worry about. He's such an emotional leader. That's good defense right there by Keller, able to take the charge on him. And one of the things, Coach Holloway, Nadefo plays with a lot of emotion. He's the emotional leader, and he has to pick his spots. And unfortunately, what happens, Joe, just like in the NBA, officials talk to each other. And one of the things Casey is going to have to realize, he can't say much to officials because officials do talk to each other. And unfortunately, sometimes they may make a emotional call such as that to a degree. I don't know what was said to the official after that charge was called, but you definitely just have to really be careful and be mindful of that.
Colby Rogers hit both technical free throws for Siena, puts them back up by 10.
And one of the rules emphasis, Joe, one of the things they clean up in college basketball, they don't want too much talking back to the official.
Here's Nick Hopkins.
Good defense by the Peacocks.
Kellier. Couldn't get around Rupert. Johnson drives. No good. Kellier the offensive rebound and can't get the putback. And it'll stay with Siena.
Good defense by the Peacocks. Able to disrupt the shot inside. Rupert just couldn't come up with the rebound.
10-point lead for the Saints. 3:42 left to go in the first. Timeout on the floor. We'll take it with him. Watching the MAAC on ESPN. Back at Run Baby Run Arena, Siena with a 10-point lead over the St. Peter's Peacocks here this afternoon. St. Peter's has scored 21 points. Darryl Jacobs, 19 of them coming off the bench.
Well, the starters got off to a slow start, but this is the kind of production you want to see coming from your bench, Joe. When the starting team gets off to a slow start, that's why Shaheen Holloway say he's about 12, 13, 14 deep, and you're seeing it this afternoon.
Still a 10-point lead for the Saints. It'll be their ball. Out of the timeout, Javian McCollum floats it in for Kellier.
I'll tell you, the freshman Rupert has done a real good job on Kellier since he started the ball game hot.
McCollum forgotten about in the defense, knocks down the three-pointer, and Siena back up by 13. They led by 14 earlier on. St. Peter's cut it down to a 7-point game, but hasn't been that close since.
And I tell you, that's a great job by McCollum, catching the defender going under the ball screen. He had enough presence of mind to step back and knock down the three for the Saints.
3-point Siena lead. He's on the ground, fighting for it. It's picked up by Gaines. McCollum.
Siena's playing great basketball, Joe. This is probably their best half of the year thus far, putting it together both offensively and defensively. As you can see, DB3, that's definitely a charge. Good job moving the feet. Any young player watching Darryl Banks at third right there on defense, he beat the offensive player to the spot. Watch, he gets the angle there, initiate the contact, as you can see right there. He was able to get the charge call.
See if that charge can ignite a spark once again in St. Peter's. Jalen Murray back out there running the point.
Here's the thing, Joe. Both teams now shooting 52% from the floor, but points off of turnovers, 11-5 in favor of the Saints right now is some of the difference in the ball game.
Murray, hard working inside, couldn't finish. And the rebound for Jace Johnson. Part of it also, Siena 5 of 9 from beyond the arc. St. Peter's just 1 of 5 from three-point range.
And that's a great point, Joe. Siena is really knocking down the threes this afternoon, 5 for 9. 15 of the 34 points has come from the three-point line.
2 1/4 left to go in the opening half. Good move by Rogers. Defended well, though, by Banks. Rebound Fousseyni Dramé. There's Murray with the take again. 8 first-half points for Juju Murray.
And I tell you, Juju is doing a very good job. That's why Coach Holloway inserted him into the ball game to ignite the offense when they got off stagnant to start the game.
On the drive, blocked by Murray. And then given away by Rupert. Pass right to Rogers.
And sometimes that's why you don't want your big guy handling the basketball, bringing it down the floor, because they're not used to making sometimes not good decisions, Joe.
Johnson gets the bucket.
Able to get to the rim right there. You can see Siena and the Peacocks are similar in terms of what they're trying to do offensively. Both teams like to attack the basket, spread the floor a little bit. They'll come down and run their half-court sets. And then once that doesn't materialize, both teams will look to attack the basket to score or create for a teammate.
10 first-half turnovers for St. Peter's. Here's Dramé for the corner three, left it short, and Gaines gets the miss.
And that's a good look right there. He normally can knock that shot down, but right now it's just not falling this afternoon.
Siena looking to extend this lead. A lot of trees out there for the Saints. Rogers, no go. Dramé the miss.
Let's see if the Peacock's going to go 2 for 1. Great pass right there by Murray to Rupert inside, Joe.
Two-handed slam for Clarence Rupert playing above the rim.
And that's that 2 for 1 I was just talking about. Unfortunately, they didn't get it down time enough and now the Saints will hold for one shot.
Travian McCollum, guarded by Murray. Ten seconds. Back to McCollum. 5. McCollum, the 3, no. And that's the first half from Run Baby Run Arena. The Siena Saints got out to a big lead early on and held it throughout the entirety of the first half. They're up 11 going into the locker room at halftime. Darryl, was an interesting first half. We'll see what the counter punches are coming up.
And that's true. That 14-0 run, initially when St. Peter's got off to a 2-0 start and they went on a 14-0 run, that has held thus far, Joe, in the first half.
Back with more at halftime. You're watching the MAAC on ESPN. It is halftime at Run Baby Run Arena in Jersey City. Siena with an 11-point lead over the St. Peter's Peacocks. Big run early on, 14-0 for the Saints. Played really even after that in the first half.
Yeah.
Plenty of action going on around the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference today. Of the 11 teams, only Iona is off. Some of the other scores going on right now. A couple of games nearing their conclusion. It's late in the second half. Fairfield looking to hang on up on Niagara. There's about 1:15 left to go in that one. Monmouth, Canisius, another game going on in Western New York. Close and late. Marist up big on Ryder at halftime. That's down in Lawrenceville. Quinnipiac and Manhattan. Tight battle up in the Bronx.
I tell you, Manhattan is off to a great start. They won a tough game up at Siena on Friday, and that's right now Quinnipiac is hanging tough. Iona's off. They're the preseason favorite. As you know, the Peacocks were picked number 2 preseason. So as you can see, Ryder is trying to get on track. Marist has been playing some good basketball as well to open up the conference season. And Monmouth is always vulnerable in the MAAC conference.
It's really impressive the way that things have shaken out across the MAAC in the early going this season. Of course, Iona's had a couple of big eye-opening wins. They played Kansas really tough as well. They're off to an 8-2 start, 2-0 in the conference, but then Manhattan, Monmouth, I mean, both of those two programs off to great starts, a lot of transfers, and it feels like, Darryl, across the board in the MAAC this year, the general level of teams is leaps and bounds over even just last year. This is an incredibly competitive MAAC. And
they showed it in the out-of-league plays. They played some real good, tough Power 5 schools and really held their own. As you mentioned, Iona beat Alabama at the time, who was number 10 in the country, and really showed themselves, which is a credit to the MAAC conference.
And Bama just beat Gonzaga last night. So that's not a bad Alabama team. That's a very good Alabama team.
Very good Alabama ball club. Yep. So the parity in college basketball, as you mentioned, that transfer portal is huge right now for that as well. And that's what's contributing to these teams, particularly low to mid-major schools, really being able to compete with the Power 5 schools.
Steve Masiello's got the Jaspers off to their best start in 20 years. And it has just been a lot of fun across the conference, lifting the lid in the slate. I mean, it's just parity all around. You're looking at Siena, a team that was picked to finish toward the bottom of the MAAC this year. They look really good. And, of course, they lost Jalen Pickett. They lost Jordan King. They lost Manny Camper from last year's team.
And that's what they picked the preseason prediction on. They don't know what you got coming in. By the time you made those predictions early on, Joe, you've gotten some transfer in who's come in and now is going to make a difference in your ball club.
Absolutely. Should be a lot of fun across the conference this year to see how things shake out over the next couple of months, leading down to Atlantic City in March.
We love this. Welcome to MAAC basketball.
Siena and St. Peter's, 11-point game at the half. Back with more on the MAAC on ESPN. Don't go anywhere. Back inside Run Baby Run Arena at halftime. The Siena Saints, a 36-25 lead over the St. Peter's Peacocks. Siena 14-0 run early on in the first half, but from about that point on, teams played even. It was just St. Peter's trying to dig itself out of an early hole.
Yeah, Siena got off to a hot spot led by Keller, being able to knock down some open threes, as you can see, Nadefo, Willing, and Dillon inside. Kelly right there knocking down Three at the top of the key. Rogers right there for the Saints knocking it down. Rupert right there for the Peacocks. So you had a lot of good basketball going on. Carpenter was very effective for the Saints, getting everything inside the lane area. As you can see, knocking down shots right there. Great pass right here back from Rupert to Drame. Great first half of basketball, particularly for the Saints.
So as we head into the second half, Darryl, what are you looking for out of St. Peter's to try to, again, continue to close this deficit? They got it as close as 7. Siena was able to grow it back to 11 before halftime.
As you can see right there, the points off turnovers, as you see, St. Peter's turned the basketball over 10 times. Right now, points off turnovers is a big difference, 13-5 in favor of the Saints. And also the Peacocks cannot have those scoring droughts. They need to get off to a good start here to start the second half to get themselves this lead under double digits, Joe.
Nearly turned it over there. Get it into Nadefo. Bucket good in the foul.
And what better way to do that is start off with a higher percentage shot. Now the Peacocks shot 52% from the floor in the first half. Again, those turnovers, those points off turnovers was a big difference. But one of the things the Peacocks is going to have to do when they weren't shooting well, they didn't get on the offensive glass, Joe. And I mentioned that in the Darryl Dimes the second time around. They have 0 second chance points right now.
Now against Colby Rogers as Nadefo, no good on the free throw. The St. Peter's starting 5, Marty Silvera, Darryl Banks III, Fusini Drame, Casey Nadefo, Doug Eddert, has a total of 4 points, and all of those belong to Casey Nadefo.
And you got Darryl Banks III, DB3's got to step it up right here. Right now, I have Matthew Lee seems to be kind of a blow to him a little bit. You know, Murray came in and did a real good job for the Peacocks, igniting that run for him. Subsequently got on the double digits, exceeding Nadefo there, coming up with a good block, that secondary defender, good defender that he is right there. But the Peacocks, Murray came in, played a great first half. You can see Kelly right there on the drive. Great pump fake, was able to draw the foul right there.
The foul on Casey Nadefo, that's his 3rd. Remember, he had the technical in the first half as Kellier's free throw is good.
And one of the things, the Peacocks right now only shooting 40% from the foul line, 2 for 5. So you don't want those type of areas coming back to haunt you, Joe. You got to knock down your free throws when you get that opportunity, particularly if you're struggling to score the basketball. And again, give the Saints credit. They're taking advantage of those turnovers. Points off turnovers is huge right now.
11 points for Jordan Kellier, new career high for him with each point he scores. Latrell Reed out there, a junior from Willingboro, New Jersey, went to Trenton Catholic High School. Eddert, no good on the floater.
The Saints have done a real good job defensively, making everything tough for the Peacocks when they get to the rim. No open looks for Eddert or DB3 this afternoon. Give Coach Carm and his coaching staff credit, and the players for right now following the game plan.
Kellier, high post jumper, no. DB3, the rebound. Both of these teams, quick turnarounds after playing their MAAC openers on Friday night. Eddert. Inside Fusini Drame, spin move on Billups, up with the shot and had it blocked.
That's a great job by Billups, the freshman for Siena. Great move right there by Drame. Ever the drop step baseline, good recovery by Billups.
Shot no good from Gaines. Rebound tips all the way into the backcourt.
And you can see the Saints are very athletic. They can match the Peacocks as far as athleticism as well up front and at the guard position.
There's Billups on the attack.
Joe, that's a tough move right there by Billups. Finished with his offhand, able to shoot it off the window in the center of the basket. That's a tough move by the freshman.
Saints back up by 13. One off their largest lead of the game. Somebody's got to get going offensively for the Peacocks. There's Drame. Looking for space inside, left it short, and Billups gets the miss.
Wow, tremendous job by the freshman Billups. Was able, what we call wall up in there, didn't give ground, was able to force Drame into a contested shot.
Rogers. Kellier with Nadefo on him. 6 to shoot. Rogers for 2. That's good.
And then right there, Nadefo didn't show on the ball screen right there. Allow Rogers to come and get a clean look at the basket. He was able to knock it down, and Coach Holloway is going to get a timeout here.
Timeout St. Peter's brings us to a timeout on the floor. 16:52 left to go in the second. Siena with its largest lead of the game up to 15 points, 42-27. It's the MAAC on ESPN. Siena with a 15-point lead over St. Peter's, and it's in large thanks to Jordan Kellier stepping in and starting for the first time this season, having himself a career day, Darryl.
And as you mentioned, every point he scores over the 6 points he had to start the ball game is career highs for him. So great job by Collier coming in down here in Jersey City off the New York skyline and having a good ball game thus far this afternoon.
Transfer from the University of Utah, former Utes. Banks out of bounds, and it's off St. Peter's. Siena basketball is out of the timeout taken by the Peacocks. Siena forces another turnover, the 11th for the Peacocks today.
Yeah, they're just going to have to fight through this adversity right now. They're not playing good basketball that we normally see from the Peacocks, but a lot of it has to do with the Saints, forcing them into this type of ball game. Saints are playing very, very good defense. And as I mentioned, Joe, they're putting it all together, both offensively and defensively today.
And that's something that Shaheen Holloway has said a couple of times after games this season and just in talking around, as we'll stay with Siena. It feels like St. Peter's isn't playing St. Peter's basketball, and they haven't quite gotten there. And it's early in the season. This is only game 6 for the Peacocks, but still waiting to see them really have that kind of put it all together kind of game.
Well, consistently. They did it up at Quinnipiac. As I mentioned, they held Quinnipiac to 32% shooting, 22% shooting from the three-point line. So they really put it together up there in their 10-point win. But now you got to do it consistently. And you're playing against, the two-time defending champion, whether it's regular season outright champion Siena, and they have a very talented ball club.
McCollum for 3, knocks it down. Siena by 18.
I'll tell you, they got McCollum out of Fort Myers, Florida. He was able to knock down that shot right there. He, too, has come off the bench and played very well for the Saints.
McCollum, bright future for Siena. Massarello just really gushes about it as Rupert inside gets the bucket off a good pick and roll for St. Peter's.
I'll tell you, freshmen to freshmen, the two talented freshmen are paying dividends this afternoon, just like they did over at St. John's, and they lost. They both had 11 points against St. John's. And right now, you're seeing, as you can see, the freshman there makes a mistake going after the basketball instead of staying in containment, Joe.
The bucket for Rupert ended a 9-0 run for the Saints. They're up big as we have a timeout on the floor here in the second half. You're watching today's contest on the MAAC on ESPN. The Saints have led this one wire to wire so far, a 16-point lead with just inside 16 minutes left to play. Joe Vasile alongside Darryl Jacobs. St. Peter's, the good news, 25 bench points. The bad news, 29 total points. That means the starting 5, Darryl, has not really done its job today.
Well, the only starter to have scored is Casey Nadeffel. He has 4 points. So no other starter has scored, which is huge right now for the Peacocks.
It's that double-edged sword. You like to see the contributions off the bench, especially Jalen Murray, Clarence Rupert, but a little something more.
You got Nadeffel, the preseason MAAC Player of the Year, and also Darrell Banks III, preseason second-team pick. So they're looking for him to pick it up. As you see, good move right there by the Saints, able to get the ball inside, going to the basket. Good layup right there by Baer.
Michael Baer, grad transfer from University of Iowa. His freshman year, he was the team manager, then a walk-on the next 3 seasons under Fran McCaffrey. There's Rupert. Pass underneath. Marty Silvera's rejected by Billups. Up ahead for McCollum. No good. Rebound by Isaiah Dasher.
I'll tell you, that was a great pass by Rupert inside. Just better defense right there by the Saints last time down.
Dasher couldn't finish around the rim. Rebound out of bounds. Will stay with the Peacocks.
I tell you, Peacocks has get some nice looks at the rim. They just can't finish. And sometimes getting those consecutive baskets, Joe, can start your momentum to swing a little bit. They've just been unable to do that this afternoon.
It's been an 11-2 run for Siena over the last 5 minutes. since the last time St. Peter's had the lead down to single digits. I think that math works out, I'm not sure. Dasher on the run from 10 is good.
Good move by Dasher. And I tell you, Saints are getting a lot of high percentage shots, Joe. They really playing with a lot of energy. It seems like St. Peter's a little step slow this afternoon.
There's Bear. Siena playing without Jackson Stormo, playing without Andrew Platek today, both outs.
Right now, looks like an addition by subtraction right now for the Saints, Joe.
Jace Johnson off on the 3. Jalen Murray got the rebound.
And the Peacocks are very much in this ball game. They just have to chop, chop, chop at this lead. The bench has been playing well. Hassan Drami has come off giving him 8 points. Murray has 8, as well as Rupert is the leading scorer with 9, Joe.
Here's Drame off the pump fake, pass tipped, and it's stolen by Siena.
Good active hands by the Saints. That's another turnover for the Peacocks. That's number 12 in the ball game.
And Siena's not a team that's forced a ton of turnovers this year. They were only forcing about 11 per game, but they're up to 12 already here today.
Well, again, I mentioned it. One of the things they're going to have to do is defend. Talking to Coach Carm, what he wanted to do is make sure his team focused on the defensive end.
Long pass ahead. Here's Dasher, reverse layup. No, the tip in, but an offensive basket interference.
And that's going to be on the rim, as you can see. It was sitting there, and Hassan Drami actually tipped it on the rim. Just a tough break right there for the Peacocks, Joe.
Ball was still sitting there inside the cylinder when Drame went up.
You see Dasher missed it. You know, he should have brought Kubrick, Donnet, and Blitzen with him. Right now, it seems like the Peacocks going to need not only just for Dasher to score the basketball, but also need someone else to step in. I mentioned bringing the other reindeers with him if you Dasher. Need them to help out a little bit right there. But got a lot of ball game left, Joe. Right now it's a 16-point game. A lot of time left. The Peacocks can chop, chop, chop at the lead. It really hasn't gotten anything going. And you don't want to commit those type of fouls. Tough defense right there. Unfortunately for the Peacocks, they get called for the foul.
Marty Silvera, I believe, is Donner. If we're going with the reindeer here, picks up the foul. I don't know what that means, but it's just the first one I thought of off the top of my head. That wasn't Rudolph. It's Carpenter. Off the hands and out of bounds.
Wow, that was a bullet pass. Collier wasn't even expecting the pass. It kind of surprised him, but he was wide open. So unexpectedly, he was not expecting the pass.
Siena's been held scoreless over the last minute and a half. St. Peter's has been unable to take advantage, though. See if that changes this possession. Murray looks to drive, and it's blocked. Great defense by Jace Johnson. Here's Billups.
And that's great recovery by Dasher not to give up the layup. Great defense down here by the Saints. They've been playing good defense, coming up with a lot of block shots, Joe. That's number 3 right there. They've got 8 steals. They're above their season average in both categories.
Outside, Hopkins. Rhythm 3 is good. Nick Hopkins.
And I tell you, that was a great look out of the double team along the baseline. Hopkins was able to knock down that shot. The Saints are playing real good basketball, Joe.
Siena with its largest lead, 19 points. Just over 12 minutes left to play. Hassan Drame draws a foul against Jace Johnson. A little bit of a bump on his way in.
Right now, the Peacocks don't want to let this get away from them a little bit. As you see, Coach Holloway is very calm because he knows there's not much he can do. Just got to let your team try to play through it as well. As you can see, Johnson gets called for the foul.
Inside, Hassan Drame not able to finish. And then a frustration foul against Drame.
I tell you, just a tough break right there for Hassan Drame. He couldn't finish inside, and unfortunately, committing the foul in the backcourt, 92 feet away from the basket. I tell you, just a missed shot right there. And you see Drame comes up with the foul, as you mentioned, Joe. Just a frustration foul, but you got a lot of time left in this ball game, Joe. 12 minutes is an eternity.
19-point lead for Siena. Carpenter. Step back. Thought about taking it. Instead, Kellier. Matched up with Rupert. Johnson. Travels.
Good defense right there by the Peacocks. Able to not allow Collier to throw it out of the post to find an open man, Joe.
Timeout on the floor. Siena leading by 19, just inside 12 minutes left to go. This is the MAAC on ESPN. Back inside Run Baby Run Arena, the Siena Saints, a 19-point lead over the St. Peter's Peacocks. 11:40 left to go in this one. Joe Vasile alongside Daryl Jacobs with you this afternoon. Couple of finals starting to trickle in across the MAAC. Monmouth and Fairfield both victorious. Those two teams sweeping their Western New York trip to start conference play. Really impressive for Fairfield, a team that I think people had some expectations for this year, and they're off to a strong start in the conference.
Yeah, anytime you can go up in that up west, we say up northwest swing up there and win both ball games, that's huge. And a surprise, I think, is Quinnipiac up 15 on Manhattan at Manhattan.
Yeah, that's a real surprise. See if the Jaspers have another late game comeback up their sleeves like they did against Siena on Friday. There's Dasher. Hassan Drame for three, left it short. Carpenter the rebound.
Hey, they've really struggled from the three-point line, Nigel. They 1 for 7 right now. And in the second half, the Peacocks are only shooting 27%, 0% from three, and 0 for 1 from the foul line, as opposed to Siena, who's shooting 66% from the floor, 50% from the three-point line, Joe. So anytime you got those kind of numbers and you're trying to get back in the ball game, right now that doesn't look well for you.
Carpenter, a contested three, swirls it in, and it's been one of those days for the Saints offensively.
I tell you, Carpenter has come off the bench. He's been huge, Joe. You know, that's his 13th point of the ball game, and anytime you can get that kind of production off the bench, he's basically matching St. Peter's production of the other players that's coming off the bench for the Peacocks by himself.
New career high for Carpenter. Steal for Hopkins. Gets the bucket.
Good steal right there. Correct hand in the passing lane, Joe. If you're any young ball players watching, he got the correct hand in the passing lane, was able to knock it away and come up with the steal for the layup.
Just like that, it's a 24-point lead for the Siena Saints at a timeout taken by Shaheen Holloway and the St. Peter's Peacocks. Just one timeout left now for St. Peter's, trailing by 24 midway through the second half. Siena's just played, Daryl, a heck of a basketball game overall, offensively, defensively, and talking with Carmen Massarello after the Friday night game against Manhattan, he said, look, just to close out games, we have to make sure we maintain our focus and play a good game for a full 40 minutes. And I mean, you know as well as I do that is something that a lot of coaches say, but now Siena, unlike on Friday against Manhattan, doing a good job up big in the second half and piling on to that lead and not letting the foot off the gas pedal at all.
Well, you know, eventually when you're struggling, eventually your team is going to play that perfect game, as we say. They putting it together both offensively and defensively this afternoon against a very, very good Peacocks team.
Out of the timeout, we'll see what St. Peter's comes up with. Eddert, Drame, Reed, Nadefo, and Banks in there. Nadefo bodies inside and draws a foul. He'll go to the line for two.
And you give the Saints a lot of credit. Every shot St. Peter has gotten, Joe, has been contested. It's not been open looks, and they've really done a good job. As you see Nadefo right there get hits on the arm, but they really have not given Doug Eddert any wide open looks. They really have not given DB3, Daryl Banks III, any wide open looks. And any looks that they've gotten from the outside, you see Nadefo missing the free throw, and that's going to be huge, Joe. Right now, they're not shooting good from the foul line. They're right now, that's 2 for 6. So they got to do a much better job. And I mentioned doing the Daryl dimes, no droughts. And unfortunately for St. Peter's, they've been in a drought all game.
Rebound out of bounds will stay with St. Peter's. You know, Siena comes into this game 2-6 on the season, but Massarello really put Siena through a tough non-conference slate to open up. St. Bonaventure, top 25 team. Delaware, Yale, preseason conference favorites in the CAA.
All on the road,
Ivy
Joe.
League.
All on the road.
Georgetown, who won the Big East tournament last year, as Eddert couldn't get the three to go. 4 straight non-conference games on the road to close out the non-league slate this year. It's been a tough run for Siena, but I think they're going to be a better team for it come January, February, and early March.
Well, I think they picked lower than what they should have been. They got a very good basketball team. And great steal right there by Nadefo. Actually, a real good foul by Kelly, or not to give up the easy layup
It's the second on Kellier is Defo. A little flourish there at the end just to finish it off.
Well, you got a lot of basketball left, Joe. Even though they're down 19 points, they can chop at the lead. You play what we call playing in intervals. You know, you want to play it in 2-minute intervals, 3-minute intervals. Try to win each interval, and you'll find yourself back in the ball game with less than 5 minutes to go.
Defo attacks, draws the foul, and will get to the line.
I tell you, they seem like Coach Holloway wants to feature Defo. Get the ball to him in that high post area where he's very effective at. He can attack the basket, going to a strong hand right there. And as you can see, the foul with the body right there by Bear.
Michael Bear used to going up against tough players when he was at Iowa. During practice every single day, his assignment to guard was Luka Garza. As Defo's first free throw is no good. He's now 0 for 4 from the free throw line.
Tell the people Luka Garza was.
Just the National Player of the Year.
Correct. So anytime you're going against players such as that caliber, and you make it as a walk-on, and subsequently transfer here and actually get some playing time, you got experience playing against some high-level guys. So, you know, you're going to be able to compete at this level, which he's doing.
And Defo's second is good. He's up to 5 points in the game. And, of course, Carmen Massarello, his first experience on a collegiate coaching staff. He was the director of basketball operations for Fran McCaffrey at Siena. Played at Siena. Outlet pass stolen by Siena.
And you got to do a better job right there. You come up with the steal. You got to take advantage of the opportunities. And a couple of times St. Peter's has come up with the steal, Joe, and just to give it right back with a play that follows the steal.
Carpenter for Bear inside, blocked by Defo. That's his third. Banks drops it back for Eddert, but a good closeout. Banks looking to attack on Billups.
And I tell you, Billups is a very good defender, Joe. He's kind of puts me in the mind of Casey Defo. He's guarding bigs, he's guarding guards, he's strong, he's athletic. Good defense right there. DB3 could have probably got a better shot, Joe. He tried to force a little bit there.
Hopkins. For Bear. Works in on Fousseyni Dramé, no good. Rebound by number 10 for St. Peter's.
Peacocks are doing a very good job last couple of times down, stopping them from scoring, but they've been unable to score themselves. So right now, the clock becomes St. Peter's enemy, Joe.
Banks had it blocked, got it back, gets the bucket.
And that's what you call persistence right there. Able to stay with his shot, get the rebound off the block shot, able to float it over the rim for a teardrop layup, Joe.
St. Peter's has held Siena scoreless over the last 2.5 minutes, but it's still an 8-3 run for Siena in the last 6.5.
And we talked about the droughts that St. Peter's is having, as you can see, giving up another layup, and that's Carpenter attacking the basket. Again, Joe, most of his points have come. It seemed like he might have pulled the muscle right there in his growing area, but he's been very effective getting to the rim coming off the bench, Joe.
Aiden Carpenter off to the bench. We've got a timeout on the floor. 7.5 left to go. Siena by 23. Watching the MAAC on ESPN. Back inside Run Baby Run Arena. Siena up by 23 on St. Peter's. 7.5 left to go. Joe Vasile alongside Daryl Jacobs. Let's take it back a few minutes, Daryl. Back to the Daryl Dimes today. How have both teams been doing on checking these off the list?
Well, the Saints have checked off every one. They're really defending. They're winning points off turnover, which is a pot, 18-6, and they dictate the tempo. Unfortunately for the Peacocks, they're in that drought. You know, I said no drought for them, and they have 14 turnovers. They haven't been taking care of the basketball, Joe. And they only have 2 second chance points, which means the second time around has not been good for them.
Daryl Banks just picked up his first 2 points of the game, looking to drive and gets it to go off the window. Maybe Banks starting to heat up for St. Peter's. That would be huge down the stretch.
And I tell you, Bank went to the bank right there, shot right there, short jump shot off the window, which is a hard shot, Joe. But he was able to score the basketball. And for the Peacocks, hopefully that can ignite not just Banks scoring, but the team overall. And look for the Peacocks to press up full court, Joe, for the rest of the ball game to try to create some turnovers so they can get into that pot, which is points off turnovers, and see if they can kind of even this thing out a little bit.
And they get the turnover in the full court press. Reed for Banks in the corner. Gonna go. Reed, no good, and the rebound comes down for Siena.
And they didn't convert that turnover into points, Joe. Good steal right there. Was able to come up with the steal, just couldn't convert the turnover into points.
And there's another turnover. Dasher got it. And St. Peter's gets the timeout in. And that's going to be the last timeout for St. Peter's in the game. And you can see Shaheen Holloway a little bit frustrated that it had to come down this way. And almost rather the tie-up at that point, even though possession arrow in favor of Siena.
But you know what? That's just a natural reaction and understanding game situations right there. You should probably, as you said, Joe, probably let it get tied up. Siena will retain possession. So that's timeout that they just lost, which was a final. Could be huge, particularly if St. Peter's really go on a run to get themselves back in this ball game.
Siena still with 3 timeouts left to the contest. They led by as many as 24 in this game. St. Peter's continuing to try to chip away.
Yeah,
and
you got
it's
to
been tough.
You got to chop away.
Yeah.
You know, you was hoping under 5 minutes you can have it under double digits. You always want to try to do that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for the Peacocks, that probably will not take place. You know, you just have to realize there's no 21-point shot. So you just got to chop at the lead. And for Coach Holloway and his team, it's all coming down to pride right now. You want to go out here, and even if you don't win the ball game, you just want to finish the game strong, and hopefully that momentum that you played the last 6 minutes can carry over into your next game if you don't win this ball game.
Well, MAAC Commissioner Rich Enser is here today. Maybe we can talk to him about getting a 21-point shot this year.
Well, you know what? NCAA is not going to pass a rule on a 21-point shot. You know, you've seen some leagues like the Big Three try a 4-point shot, and that's not been accurate, you know, as well. So let's see what the Peacocks do after the timeout, Joe. Let's see what Coach Holloway put together.
Oh, Latrell Reed's got it for St. Peter's. Drop it out, DB3. Pumps, drives, gets the foul, and
as you can see, Coach Holloway is telling DB3 he should have shot the basketball. Great play out of the timeout to get it for his score right there. As you can see, gets around Billups right there. But Coach Holloway wanted him to try to shoot the 3 and knock it down. But he decided to attack the basket, but he did draw the foul.
6th foul against Siena. Banks, step back, smooth for Darryl Banks the third.
And that's a pro move, Joe. He's able to initiate the contact, step back, create a separation, able to knock it down from the mid-range. Good job right there by DB3.
19-point lead for the Saints.
You still got a lot of time left, Joe. St. Peter's got to hold Siena scoreless at least over the next 4 to 5 minutes.
Tall task, Billups inside for Kellier. Backing down, Foussini Drame. Trying to get around, and a travel.
Good job by Drame. Any young players watching, he got his hands straight up in the air. They wasn't leaning forward. He forced Kellier into a travel. Watch Drame right here, straight up in the air, bodying him up right there. As you see, try to hook him a little bit. He was able to force him into the travel. He did switch pivot foot. Good call by the officials. And now what you're going to see the Saints do, Joe, is actually push up full court to try to make St. Peter's take time off the clock, because they understand the clock is their enemy more so than St. Peter's at this point.
Drame out of control and an offensive foul.
Great defense right there by the Saints, able to step in. And I can tell you, Coach Carm should be very happy with his team defensive effort. Good defense right there. Was able to step in, square the man off, and take the charge.
Foul number 6 against St. Peter's, so both teams gearing up for 1-and-1s on the next common foul. There's Rogers. Haven't seen him out there for a while for the Saints.
And the Saints, what the Saints going to do right here, Joe, they're just going to use the clock, run the offense, try to take as much time off, 25 to 28 seconds each time down the floor right now.
Rogers attacks. Shot disrupted, and Drame gets the miss.
And right now, St. Peter's got a score on about every possession coming down the floor, Joe.
Murray for Nadefo. Up the middle, dishes off underneath to Foussini Drame.
Great look right there. Great catch by Foussini with the one hand, able to finish it at the rim.
Peacock starting to get in a flow offensively. A 6-0 run, nearly forced the turnover. Still up for grabs, And Rogers just gets it across with a second to spare.
He just beat the timer right there, Joe.
And then a foul called against the Peacocks. It'll be 1-1 for Colby Rogers.
And right now, great effort by the Peacocks right there. Almost came up with the steal, almost forced the 10-second backcourt violation. Just probably a tenth of a second slow for the Peacocks.
Colby Rogers to the free throw line to shoot 1-1. Rogers 2 for 2 from the stripe today, and he misses the first. Nadefo gets the rebound.
And let's see if St. Peter's can take the advantage.
Foul, by the way, was on Fousseyni Dramé, his third. Here's Banks spinning inside, has it blocked, gets it back, gets the second chance points.
Really, that's a grown man move right there. Was able to follow up his block shot, scored at the rim. Right now, St. Peter's is trying to get the turnover, and they do come up with it, Joe.
Banks with the steal. Here's Murray, lob to Nadefo! Oh my goodness!
That's big time right there, Joe.
And a block the other way for Casey.
Not only did he come up with the big dunk on a great pass from Murray, Joe, but a great block at the other end. That's why he's preseason MAAC Player of the Year. They're going to need this kind of energy over the last 4-16. They want to give themselves a chance to win this ball game, Joe.
Timeout, Siena. Leads down to 13 with 4 1/4 left to go. It's the MAAC on ESPN. Time for tonight's Ticket Smarter Smart Play of the Game. Ticket Smarter is the smarter way to buy tickets to live events. We're looking to experience and enjoy the power and excitement of all the best sports, concerts, and theater events. Visit Ticketsmarter.com and download the app today. Don't miss out. Smart fans start at Ticketsmarter.com. Casey Nadefo, the alley-oop slam. The block on the other end. St. Peter's with a ton of momentum. Timeout taken by Carmen Massarello. Siena still got a 13-point lead with 4 1/4 to play, but St. Peter's on a 10-0 run, Darryl.
And that's correct. Unfortunately for the Peacocks, right now they got on their scoring run late in the ball game, but you got 4 minutes left to go, Joe. So hopefully the clock will not become St. Peter's enemy.
Siena right now has not scored in 3.5 minutes. Here's Rogers with 8 to shoot. Banks tipped it away, stolen by Dramé. Around Kellier, has the shot blocked by Billups. Great defensive play by Jared Billups.
And I tell you, the young freshman kind of reminds me of Nadefo. Can guard anybody. He's been playing great defensively. He's athletic. Great job by Billups, the freshman.
An undersized too, 6'4", but with great leaping ability. Pass for him is out of bounds.
And right there, the Peacocks got to take advantage of these turnovers right now. As you see, probably getting to another media timeout right here, Joe. See what, no, we're not going to media timeout. Let's see what Coach Holloway is going to draw up right here in terms of getting something good. Look for him to try to get something for DB3, or look for Murray to try to create, or get it to Nadefo in the high post. He got Billups on him, so this is a good matchup.
And remember, St. Peter's out of timeouts in the game. They took their last one with about 6.5 minutes left to play. Nadefo backing down Billups. Spins, double teams. Banks nearly traveled. Can't get the roll.
It's a great defensive end right there by the Saints. Able to create a hard shot for the Peacocks. And right now, you're going to see the Saints use the clock, as Coach Massiello is really, really employing his team to use the clock.
The column guarded by Murray. Now Hopkins. Pass goes out of bounds. McCollum caught it and landed in the Siena bench.
That's another break for the Peacocks right here. Again, right now, the clock is actually the Peacocks' enemy. It's 2:44 left, Joe. Hopefully there's enough time left, which they do have enough time. You can see correct call by the officials. The Peacocks got to get in something very quick, Joe. Looking to attack the backs very quickly. As Coach Holloway say, come on, let's push it up. Look for them to spread the floor, run their stuff a little bit. Look for Dramé.
Banks off the screen for three, swishes!
Knocked down the three. Might have got fouled right there, Joe. Good play run by Coach Holloway to get DB3 a nice look.
2-on-1 for Siena. Kellier to Billups. Good transition D. And another turnover. Here's Dasher. 8-point game.
8-point ball game right now.
It's a 15-0 run for St. Peter's. Timeout, Siena.
And as you mentioned, Joe, it's a 15-0 run by St. Peter's. The momentum is going that way. Great steal right there by Dasher. Able to come up with the steal for the easy layup. We got ourselves a ball game, Joe, with 2:03 left in the ball game. Right now, if you coach Master, as you can see, Dasher comes up with the steal right here. Able to get in for the easy layup. Now you got the lead under double digit. Hopefully the clock is not St. Peter's enemy at this point, but unfortunately it is, Joe. Let's see what the Saints do after this timeout.
Siena led 55-31 with 9.5 minutes left to go. They've scored 2 points since that point, and now you're looking at St. Peter's at a point where it's an 8-point game with 2 minutes left, and you're thinking, well, okay, we can start to foul at a certain point to extend the game. That's now become an option because you've gone on such a great run. And look at the turnover numbers, completely reversed themselves from where they were for the first 3 quarters of this game.
Absolutely, and you mentioned they creating turnovers, making Siena turn the basketball over, which was one of their Achilles' heels coming into the ball game. So give the Peacocks a lot of credit for fighting through adversity, persisting, and still got a chance to win this ball game, Joe.
Crowd here at Run Baby Run Arena has gotten themselves back into it.
And the Peacocks are running right now. And as Coach Holloway said, run, baby, run. Let's get some quick baskets. Let's create some turnovers. And let's get ourselves an opportunity to win this ball game.
There'll be less than 2 minutes to go. McCollum.
As you lead, the Saints are looking, anything that dribbles to the wing, they're looking for a backdoor cut. Good discipline by the Peacocks defensively.
Gaines looks to attack. Nadefo defensively on him. No good on the shot. Rebound, Fousseyni Drame.
Great box out by DB3.
Murray for Dasher. Up the middle, he gets fouled.
And great move going to the basket. He might have hurt himself right there, Joe. But great move by Dasher going to the basket. And that's what you want to see. You got to have a sense of urgency, especially with less than 2 minutes to go. Good drive right there by Dasher. He got fouled right there on the arm. And now these free throws become very vital, Joe, as I mentioned. It's not so much what you did the first 38 minutes of the ball game, is what you do now over this last 129, knocking down free throws, taking advantage of turnovers, taking high percentage shots.
Dasher, first free throw, rattles in. And now you look at the free throw numbers for St. Peter's, 4 for 10 today. And Darryl, you were harping on it throughout most of the game, how important those could be down the stretch. Peacocks have been a little bit better early in the game. This could be even closer than 7 points.
And that is correct, Joe. You know, you want to make your free throws. 3 things you always want to do to win basketball games if you're a basketball team. Defend, rebound, and make free throws. You do those 3 things consistently, you always give yourself the chance to win ball games.
2 for 2 for Isaiah Dasher. 4 big points for him coming off the bench.
And
St. Peter's ball.
Great
Unreal.
defense right there by Murray. This has been a tremendous run by the Peacocks.
Unbelievable second half. Really unbelievable last 7 minutes.
7 minutes and some change. The Peacocks have put together a phenomenal run, holding the Saints scoreless while really putting the ball in the hole themselves. A 3-pointer here could make it a 1-possession game, Joe.
Banks going for it. He's fouled. Darryl Banks the third. 3 free throws coming up.
And I tell you, Joe, I just mentioned it. A 3-pointer would have made it a 1-possession ball game. He has the opportunity to knock down 3 free throws, Joe, to make it a 1-possession ball game. And who would have ever thought at the 7-minute mark St. Peter's would make this kind of run? But this is a credit to Coach Holloway and his staff and his players being able to hang in there, never getting discouraged, kept fighting and fighting.
Good on the first. It's an 18-0 run for St. Peter's over the last 6 minutes and 17 seconds. A 20-4 run over the last 9.5 minutes.
And I tell you, the Peacocks got back to what they always been, a good defensive team. They decided to do it at the 7-minute mark. And what better way, and if you any players watching, any coaches watching, no matter how much time is left on the clock, you always can give yourself a chance to win a basketball game if you keep playing hard and don't get discouraged. Good job by the Peacocks.
Banks goes 3 for 3. It's a 3-point game with 1:21 left.
One possession ball game. Now, St. Peter's don't have to foul right here. They don't have to be overly aggressive.
This is unbelievable. It was a 24-point Siena lead. Turnover, Murray.
And they don't need a three here, Joe. It's a one possession ball game, so you can get a nice high percentage shot.
Casey Nadefo lost it, but he gets fouled and will go to the line to shoot 1 and 1.
And now these free throws going to become very critical, Joe. What a tremendous run by the Peacock. Been able to persist, and this has been led by DB3 and Casey Nadefo and Murray, Drame. Tremendous job. Don't forget, Joe, the bench kept them in this ball game. And now the starters are really picking it up. These free throws are huge here, Joe.
Casey Nadefo struggled at the line today, 1 of 5 so far. Could make up for it in a big way right now. No, on the first of the 1 and 1.
He's still got time, Joe. Even though he's missed, it's still a one possession ball game. St. Peter's just have to be solid right here.
50 seconds left.
And if you're the Saints, you got to look to get a high percentage shot. Look for them to get it to Rogers, or look for them to get it to Kelly.
Tipped, and off the official is Dasher. Was going for the steal, ends up hitting off of one of our referees.
Dasher has made an impact, Joe. Defensively, offensively, he's really getting after it. Tremendous effort by the Peacocks, Joe. Tremendous effort.
Siena in desperate need of a basket. They haven't scored in 7 minutes. Not 1 point. Rogers for 3. No. Offensive rebound gains.
Well, you got a foul right now. Now there's no shot clock involved. It looks, excuse me, yes it is, Joe. There's a 8-second differential, and Coach Holloway wants to go with the foul, which is smart.
That'll send Colby Rogers to the free throw line. He had a 1 and 1 midway through this St. Peter's run.
And I was correct,
missed.
Joe. There's no shot clock. I don't know why they had the shot clock run. It kind of confused me a little bit. I thought there was a differential, but there was no differential.
Well, there was because of the reset down to 20 off the offensive
Absolutely.
rebound. That's
that is
what
correct.
Happened. But now
the shot clock is off. That is correct.
First of the 1 and 1, no good. Rebound, Casey Nadefo. Unreal.
What you want to do is try to get something. If you're going to go for the tie, try to get something for DB3.
At this point, Siena is going to foul and send Murray to the line, up by 3.
And
foul
again,
intentionally for a 1 and 1.
And again, we mentioned those timeouts. That was going to come back and be crucial for Coach Holloway and his ball club. You know, he used a couple of them just to try to settle his team down, to try to keep the score close, which proved to be very beneficial for them.
A lot of coaches don't like to foul up by 3, but Armin Massarello, I think it's a smart move, sending the freshman Jalen Murray to the free throw line.
And you want to put a lot of pressure on the freshman to see if he can knock down 2 free throws.
No good on the first.
And now if you're the Peacocks right here, if he does miss, you want to try to get the offensive rebound and kick it back out for a 3. If he makes it, and then you got to determine who you want to foul if you're the Peacocks. If you're the Saints, you want to get the ball in your best foul shooter hand when you're taking the ball out of the net.
Murray's second. That's good. 2-point game, timeout Siena.
And what Siena's going to do right here, Joe, is try to get to something to get the ball into their best foul shooter hand. If you're the Peacocks, you want to try to get a 5-second call if you can, or potentially have somebody run you over and take a charge and hopefully get the call that kind of way.
Crunch time here in Jersey City. St. Peter's trying to complete what would be a stunning comeback on the Siena Saints. It's part of a stretch of home games for the Peacocks. St. Francis Brooklyn coming in on Wednesday. NIAC Division II program on Sunday. Then a couple of tough non-conference games before resuming MAAC play at the end of the month. It's not an easy run here for St. Peter's, and pick up a win here today would be huge.
Well, that's most important. Today, the schedule is fine to look at, but let's deal in the moment right now if you're the Peacocks. If they can come back and miraculously win this ball game, there'll be a 2-0 in the conference, tied with Iona for first place. As you can see, Siena schedule is there. They go on the road for a couple of non-league games.
Yep, Holy Cross and American, as Siena is basically an honorary member of the Patriot League this year. 4 Patriot League teams on their non-conference schedule. Then they've got Iona on New Year's Eve. So Well, welcome back to the MAAC. Here's Rick Pitino and Nelly Jr. Joseph and the Iona Gales.
Well, there was a song called Return of the MAAC. There's a song called Return of the MAAC, and that's what it is, Return of the MAAC. The MAAC is one of the best conferences, low to mid-majors in the country, and they showing it playing out of league, winning some ball games, particularly Iona, as you mentioned, beating Alabama, who was ranked in the top 10 at that time.
13 seconds left to go in the game. Siena by 2. You got to go the length of the floor. St. Peter's basically in foul territory, but man, if they could pull this out, it would be something. Both teams are out of timeouts.
You're going to see St. Peter switch on everything.
In for Rogers. Dasher gives the foul. And about 1.8 go off the clock.
There's a lot of time left in this ball game, Joe. It's going to come down to foul shooting and how St. Peter's respond to getting the ball offensively and coming down the floor. It's 1-and-1 right here, if I'm not mistaken, Joe. Correct. So now any missed shot off this, now potentially if they miss the 1-and-1, St. Peter's can come down either to tie the ball game or potentially win the ball game. Whoever would have thought at the 7-minute mark we would be saying that, Joe, but that's a credit to Coach Holloway and his ball club.
A 21-0 run for St. Peter's. Rogers has missed the front end of 2 1-and-1s already. Not so this time.
And he's returning back here to New Jersey. He played his high school ball at Roselle Catholic. Has a lot of family here. And he calmly hit the first one, Joe.
This one's massive.
It is. Now it makes it a 2-possession ball game. St. Peter's has plenty of time left. As you can see, Coach Massarello is going to get his defensive unit in.
11 seconds left to go. Both teams out of timeouts. Peacocks down by 4. Here's Jalen Murray. DB3 back to Murray. Attacks. Layup. Good.
Now you just got to find somebody to foul right away.
Gaines fouled with 1.2.
Peacocks was hoping they could get a quicker foul right there. Allowed 2 passes to get thrown in, and 1 to get thrown in, and 1 to get thrown cross court. It's a good move right there by Murray, able to finish at the rim. Now the pass in, try to get a foul here. Good job by the Saints getting rid of the basketball.
Now it's 2 free throws coming up for Gaines, a chance to ice this one. Out that 1.2 and up by 2, and St. Peter's having to go the length of the floor isn't a tough enough challenge.
Stranger things gonna happen, Joe. He needs these 2 free throws to ice the game.
It's the first.
Tremendous effort by St. Peter's over the last 7 and some change, Joe. Was down as many as 19 points during that time, was able to recover, actually went over a 15-0 run themselves.
Welcome to MAAC basketball. My goodness, what a finish here in Jersey City. Gaines to try to close it out. No. Nadefo gets the miss and is fouled with .1. 2 shots coming up. And I think they're going to go to the replay monitor to check the time on this as well.
And that was a very nasty fall by both the Peacocks players. You can see Drame gets up limping a little bit. Hopefully he's okay. But let's see what happens at the monitor. Was any of the players push, or was it just the 2 Peacocks players just battling for the rebound right there?
So I'll ask you this question, depending on how much time is left, if they put 4/10 or 3/10 or something like that left in this game. You go down to the other end, you make the first free throw, you make it a 2-point game. You have to intentionally miss.
You got to miss it, Joe. You got to get a tip in. That's the only way. You can't come down and catch it with 0.1 second left. You don't have enough time to catch it. So this can be in St. Peter's score. Now watch the foul here. Watch Billups inadvertently goes under Nadefo. And it sounds like they're going to put some more time on the clock.
Whether it's 0.5 seconds, 0.6, 0.4, somewhere in that range.
Well, that makes a
right?
big difference. 0.5 will make a big difference. It might allow you time to get to catch it and get it off real quick. But anything below, I believe, is 0.2 or 3. You're not allowed to be able to catch the basketball, get it in. You know, break for the Peacocks right there.
Yeah, got to go for the tip if it's under 0.3 seconds.
But he's got to make the first free throw.
They're up, and
you can see the official signaling 1-and-1. So he's got to make the first free throw. In any of the scenarios we talked about, correct. He's got a time. They got a time to actually come down with the basketball and go right back up. But he's got to make the first free throw, Joe, and then he's got to miss the second free throw for the chance for them to tip it in. As you can see, Coach Holloway put both the Drame twins in, who are the best offensive rebounders.
Dasher and Banks out there as well. Casey Nadeffa with the free throw line.
And you're going to see Dasher and Banks try to come in from the foul line area as well, particularly if he makes this first one. If he doesn't make this one, all what we discussed will be academic.
Nerves of steel for Casey Nadeffa. Now you have to miss.
It depends on which side you want to miss it to.
Throws it up, tip out, and that'll do it. Siena holds off an incredible run for St. Peter's down the stretch. The Saints led by 24 with 9.5 to go. The Peacocks make it a one-possession game, but the Saints hang on to pick up their first MAAC win. And my goodness, what a finish. An exciting game here today, Darryl.
And I mentioned when St. Peter's was down by 24 points, it comes down to just having some pride and trying to gain some momentum, even if you don't win the ball game, to try to have some good play carry over into the next ball game. So Coach Holloway has something to build off with that last 7-minute effort of his ball club. I know he's not happy they didn't come out with the win. They got off to a slow start, but it's something to build on. It's still early in the conference season.
Kellier and Carpenter led the way for Siena. Darryl Banks, 14 points, all in the second half. Casey Nadeffa was huge defensively. Clarence Rupert played a really good first half for the Peacocks. It was a heck of a game, and man, it just a tough one to lose, but a strong overall effort.
Well, give the Saints credit. They came in with a game plan. They did everything in the Darryl dimes, from playing defense, winning the points off turnover battles, and it's also getting out playing a very, very aggressive defense, as I mentioned. Unfortunately for the Peacocks, they got into a drought to start the game, except for the last 7 minutes. So something to build on if you both teams. It's early in the conference season, Joe, so there's a lot of basketball left.
Well, so for Darryl Jacobs, I am Joe Vasile saying so long from Run Baby Run Arena, where the final score is Siena 60 and St. Peter's 58. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This game has been a presentation of ESPN.